Good morning, Vilas.
Good morning.
Lata. Good morning, Padmasree.
Morning, Padmasree.
Morning.
Padmasree's 1 week vacation is over. Huh?
Over.
You are fresh.
It just got over. That it got over.
Okay, so let's begin.
Yes.
So, one simple way before we go to 128, one simple way to understand is if you have maybe I had informed Lata to do it as an assignment, maybe I'll ask other two of you to also do something like that, is to watch a time-lapse video. Okay, and that will, let me see if I can do that here. I can share the screen here. Okay, hold on, let me do that live. I think it's better that way, then we can discuss, because talking in theory is not going to help. One second. Okay, so I will share the screen, share video. Start presenting. Okay, so can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you see this then. Okay, so I've already spoken to Lata, so there's no point in asking her. So how about both of you? What is your observation?
My observation is that avyakta to vyakta, and with all its own gunas, it is able to vyakta. And one is a vertical growth which is outside, which is visible to us. Other one is, I was just thinking during that time, generally for us to go inside this, the earth is very, very tough. We use all those instruments. But here, such a nice and very flexible, elastic kind of roots, they are able to penetrate and go wherever they want. That is also something Ashcharya there. And both are growing together.
Okay.
And it is not possible for human mind to do this. It is happening just because of Prakriti and Purusha's magic, Maya.
Okay. How about you, Padma Shri? What is your inference?
First of all, it's very fascinating to see something which is more than a month collapsed into about 1.5 minutes or something like that. It is very fascinating to see the growth. One thing that I observed is that nature or there is this one which allows you to keep on spreading your roots as this one requires the strength. As it is growing tall, it's spreading. So if you remember what was there on day 21 on the shoot and then how you saw it on the root, you could easily make out that it was trying to stabilize itself. So that is the nature's way of stabilizing the whole system. If that conscious or that Brahman was not there, this balance would have been possible, is what I felt.
Okay, good. So this, what you saw, covers up 127 and 128. So first point is that you have not seen what should be seen. Yapashyati swayam sarvam yam na pashyati kaschana. That which sees itself as all but which no one can see. So at present you are not seeing what has to be seen, even though that was quite visible what is happening there. Yaha chetyati buddhayati na tatyam chetayati ayam. That which illumines that intellect but which they cannot illuminate itself. This is 127. And 128, yena vishwam idam vyaptam yam na vyapnoti kinchana abha rupam idam sarvam yam bhantam anubhatyayam. So, yena vishwam idam vyaptam, that by which this universe is pervaded. Yam na vyapnoti kinchana, but which is not pervaded by anything at all. It is shunya. Abha rupam idam sarvam. All this only a reflection. Yam bhantam anubhatya yam. Of that which is shining. When it shines, all shines after it. So I didn't know better way of explaining this and I showed that video. So let's understand in a proper perspective 127 and 128. This consciousness has no interest towards any seed whatsoever. Whatever in the seed is there, it brings up. It is the problem of the shoot, that is the stem and the shoot and roots, to find the nutrients. So if you've seen that in the video, you see that the root is going down and searching for nutrients. So what we are also doing is to search that nutrients and create more and more karma in the process. So Padmashri, you're right that it is stabilizing. So everybody would like to stabilize. So youthful state is a stable state. So everybody wants to be stable. And youthful is one thing which makes anybody stable. So we love the youth. We don't love the young age and we don't love the old age, because both are pain. The youth is the one which is stable. So the plant is trying to stabilize itself through pushing through the roots and finding nutrients. So all the job, all the tribulations, all the effort, all the homes, all the money, all the bank balance and this and that is the roots which are searching for the nutritive essence, or the essence of life is to sustain the life. That's exactly what is happening. But in the process, the previous frames are removed. That means that seed coming into existence is removed, the initial sapling is removed, and everything is removed there, and a new one is coming up. So that law of nature can never be removed. Yapashyati, one who sees this, Swayam Sarvam, everywhere. This is the same thing which is happening everywhere, whether it's a plant or a human, animal, bird, or any kind of water-borne, or going down into the naraka, all are same. Yam na pashyati kaschana, nobody will observe this. What observation? That the same consciousness is bringing up that seed as a plant, bringing up as a seed as an egg, bringing up as a seed as a human embryo, like that. Ya chetyati buddhyayati, that which illumines the intellect. That means when you are able to see it. Natatyam chetyati ayam. So ayam, this one, cannot illumine that one. That one, which is that one, the consciousness. Your buddhi, if it is illumined, that is now let us say my buddhi is illumined, I am able to see Brahman in everything, fine, but that doesn't illumine back the consciousness. My buddhi is illumined now, but that doesn't really illumine the consciousness. In the same way, 128 verse, Yena Vishwam Idam Vyaptam, whatever you call it as an universe, what is pervaded? This consciousness is pervaded. Yam na vyapnoti kinchana, but which is not pervaded by anything. The consciousness is not pervaded by anything, but the world is pervaded by consciousness. If the proper environment is put in place, then the seed will sprout. If the proper environment is not given, the seed will not sprout. So what is the difference between bondage and mukti? If you give food to that consciousness, it will come out as vilas. If you don't give the food to consciousness, it will never come. And that is mukti. Being born as vilas is bondage. Simple. Now it has to go through the tribulations of whatever is there in the seed. That means I will have some good, some bad, some neutral kind of experiences all the time, because that is what is there in the seed. So I will then have a particular body, just like that bean plant has a particular body. It has a way of growing, and also it has a way of struggling, it has a way of disease. It has, once it comes out, a lot of insects would like to eat it. Same thing with me, the so-called me, because I will also be eaten by something or the other all the time. So the two things which are getting eaten up, one is the external things like sun and that is heat and cold and insects and all of that kind, and diseases. And secondly is the mind, which keeps on eating, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, in the process creating more seed of existence, bhava. So it is not pervaded by that one, is not pervaded at all. That consciousness is least bothered whether I will grow like this or I will not grow like this. Whatever is there in the seed is coming out. So I have a particular height, I have a particular weight, and I have a particular skin texture, I have particular health, and I have particular diseases, I have particular intellect, I have different ability and not different abilities and all of that. Abha rupam idam sarvam. However, this consciousness which is arrived here is just a reflection. If that seed doesn't have to sprout, the consciousness doesn't sprout on its own. Okay, so it doesn't come outside on its own. It will only come if an environment is provided. So this is called as conditioned existence. The consciousness is not a permanent entity. It is a conditioned existence because it's only a reflection, chidabhasa. So that consciousness, what you saw in that plant, is conditioned by the seed, by the mud, by the nutrients, etc. If that nutrient is not there or the seed is faulty, then the consciousness departs from there. Similarly, in this body where the consciousness exists, if the condition is ripe, it keeps on staying there, even though the body is becoming old. The moment the consciousness finds that this body is not properly conditioned for it to sustain, it departs. So there is no person. Yam bhantam anubhataya yam. That which, when it shines, all shines after it. Meaning, once the consciousness comes, then the mind is able to grasp. Buddhi is able to work. The chittas are able to come. And the ahankara is able to say, I am. But if the consciousness were not to be there, then all of these four will not be there. Any questions? All I have understood. Beautiful.
It is good to hear.
Lata, I was supposed to answer you this anyway. I've answered it. So, any question you have as per your assignment? Are you there?
I think she is there.
Yeah, it is showing muted. I don't know, maybe some call or something.
Yeah, possible.
Okay. Anyway, so let's continue. So if we get confused on these two shlokas, the furthermore are very difficult. So I just want to ask again, are you very clear looking at that video how this whole thing works? All okay?
For me, your explanation, that video, yes.
Okay, so other two have not said anything. Padmashri, you have anything to say, or is it understandable? Okay, we
What
continue.
happened to both of them?
I don't know. Now Lata is.
What happened?
They are very-
I just went for a minute. Somebody rang the bell, so I just went and then came. So you asked me something or what?
Yes,
You are Avyakta.
you became Avyakta.
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So did you ask something? Just for a minute I went and then came. That's right.
No, what I asked is, I had given this assignment to you for Saturday and Sunday, and then I've answered the question itself, what I wanted you to observe. So I wanted to know you have any comment on this.
Maybe I have not heard that part. So what I was doing on Saturday was, you asked me to watch this planned time-lapse video. I watched many plants, some few I watched. Then I went and watched the human thing, and then I watched the universe itself. There was one nice video
Yes,
which says how the sun will go away, the stars will go away, finally even the black hole also go away,
perfect.
and then finally only that that full or nothing is existing, but it is still alive with something which we don't know what that is.
Correct.
And so then I was also, the one thing which I observed was this mud. When you really observe, you see that when in the beginning it is kind of dead. In 1 or 2 days it become alive. The mud itself will become alive, and then all the roots and all that thing will come up. And then when I was looking, so it looks like everything grows, stabilizes, decays and dies. Same thing with us also. The same way like plant, we will sprout, we grow, and then we shrivel and die. Same with the stars, the sun, the earth, everything. So, and it all happens like that. So that's what my observation was. So I don't know what you answered. And I know that it's a consciousness which is, the mud is becoming alive because the consciousness is getting established there. So that's why you feel that aliveness in that. Why I notice it, because when I see this patterns of colors and all, that same kind of vibrancy I can see in that.
Correct.
So, and then in the full atmosphere also, that around everywhere that vibrancy is there. So that is what is making everything grow and move forward.
Yes. So it is pervaded everywhere, but the buddhi is not pervaded everywhere. Meaning, just because I am now have illumination doesn't mean that it is illumined because of me.
Yeah, correct.
So everything shines after that. So what I was trying to tell you, Lata, is I wanted you to observe. Observation was the first thing. Then comes awareness, right? So in that assignment, I had asked you a question, or in fact, you had asked me a question: what should I observe after observing all this? And then we almost hit upon that ahara, food.
Yes.
And then if you see this video closely, or if you watch yourself closely, the consciousness keeps on eating something and throwing it out.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's all what it is. This is what is the Vishwarupa Darshana is all about.
Yeah, correct. So I think today, you used to say before, but then I never internalized it. So you prepare something, and it takes a long time, and then it gets digested and it is gone. That all the effort is gone.
Correct.
Same way, we also study. We do quite a lot of effort for any project, everything, and then after some time, okay, that is completely gone. That effort is gone.
Yes.
So you keep on putting pointless effort in these activities, but the only effort which you can carry forward is a spiritual effort.
Correct. Everything else will be removed.
Yeah, so then now I understood why people say we are doing all pointless things in this worldly life.
Correct.
Doing this, doing that, trying to get that, you cannot take anything with you. The only thing which comes with you is the effort which you put in the spiritual direction. That nothing is lost, like is told in Bhagavad Gita. So that became evident for me yesterday.
Okay, very good.
It's not that I know it, but then you know it at a deeper level.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So if that is experienced by you yesterday, then 129th verse is for you. Yasya sat.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for you only. If you are really experienced. Yasya sat nidhi matrena deha indriya manaha diyaha vishayeshu swakiyeshu vartante preritaha iva. So by that consciousness which we saw in the video, that one reality creates an illusory way of body, sense organs, mind and intellect, and it performs their respective functions like a team of servants prompted by their master. So that's all what it is. So if you ask who am I, there is no one. Shunya. Any questions on this shloka? All I've understood or pondering?
Can you tell one more time?
Okay. See, what did you experience yesterday, Lata? Can you again repeat?
Yeah, so whatever effort we are doing is pointless.
Hold on for a second.
Get.
Hold on for a second. That's the first line. Yasya sat
Yes.
nidhi matrena. Nidhi means the treasure. So this sat is there in everything like a treasure house. People go in, bring out something to again throw it there only. Nobody can take it anywhere.
Correct. That's true. Everything you leave here only. Yes.
Everything you leave here only. Okay. With what? Deha, Indriya, Manaha, Dhiyaha. Body, sense organ, mind and intellect.
Yeah, correct.
So with these four, it gives an opinion that I exist. But actually what is happening, it is only Vishayeshu Swakiyeshu Vartante. They perform their own function. So the body performs its own functions, mind performs its own function, sense organ performs its own function, intellect does its own function.
Yeah, okay. Now I understood. Yes.
Just like preritaha iva, that means somebody has been induced them to do, like a servant prompted by their master.
Yeah.
That is what it is all about. So now if you have understood that it is essenceless to do anything at all, then it is the real you. If you think there is an essence, then that is the false you. So the realization is there is no essence in anything you do. And that is realization. The liberation is you drop that. Because it was shunya from the beginning. So you don't exist. Just like the consciousness which arrived in the plant doesn't care about what the plant feels, but that is conditioned. As long as the plant exists or bija is supposed to keep on growing, it will keep on nurturing. If the plant is not nourished by water and the mud, it will die. Same way, this consciousness which is there in our body is also a conditioned one, wherein you keep on giving food, it keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing, and ultimately it drops off. There is no person there. It just drops off. the mirage of existence is these four things: Deha, Indriya, Manaha, Dhiyaha.
Yes.
Yes, but
This Deha, Manaha, Indriya, and Dhiya, whatever you said. So here that Chaitanya, we get a feel. When we look at either a plant or a human being, we get a feel that his arm is moving, he is talking, and all that.
correct.
So that is happening just because Chaitanya is there.
Correct.
And we get a feel that this Chaitanya is nothing but finally that body. Because when somebody speaks, immediately we get a feel that that person is like this and is speaking either favoring or neutral or negative way with me.
Correct.
So, but we treat that as Chaitanya actually.
Correct.
But without Chaitanya, he cannot speak.
Yes, that is the real Chaitanya.
Yeah. So behind there is some real Chaitanya, and this body, whatever we see or whatever we feel through our manas, gives you a feel that it is Chaitanya.
Yes,
But actually it is not Chaitanya. That is what you are trying to say, right?
correct.
I think whatever you talked other day, you are trying to explain through that various, basically that sound and that experiment.
Correct.
That sound is not any meaning. There is no meaning in that. Color is color. That's it. A flower is just a color and shape. So from that concept, when you see, this is a very clear definition from other side. We get a feel as if it is something, but actually it is not.
Yes.
See, now in the potential form, there is what you call that trigunas are there. Potential form. The moment it gets this Chaitanya, and then basically Chaitanya and that potential when it gets water and then sunlight and then this earth element, it start coming to Vyakta.
Correct.
It is Vyakta for me only, right? For my
Correct.
manas, it is Vyakta.
Correct.
Actually, there is nothing called Vyakta there.
Yes. Both are false. That is the reason when we
What I see is also false. What I see is also false.
correct. And that is the reason we
I see those things through my mind. That is also false.
yes.
So true form may be avyakta. Can I say that way? It is not vyakta.
No, that is why we looked at that anatma. He says both vyakta and avyakta are both anatma.
Oh, avyakta is also anatma.
Yes, the previous shloka.
Yeah.
The 220 avyaktam etat trigunaihi niruktam tat karanam nama shariram atmanah shushuptihi etasya vibhakti avastha pralayena sarva indriya buddhi vrittihi. So both the unmanifested and manifested are the same.
Avyakta is not visible to our mind. Vyakta is visible to our mind. But both are false.
Both are false. So if you say that I am avyakta, is also wrong. If you say I am vyakta, is also wrong. If you say I am sometimes avyakta, sometimes vyakta, is also wrong. You have got nothing to do with vyakta and avyakta. That is you, which is shunya.
Yeah, deeper meaning is correct.
Yeah, and people fight on, like you rightly said the other day, on shunya and purnatva. That is the sad part. So he says in 130th verse, ahankaradi dehantah vishayacha sukhadayah vedyante gahata vatena nitya bodha swarupina ahankaradi, from the ego down to the gross body, dehanta, that is ahankara, buddhi, chitta, manas and indriyas and the gross body. Vishayahacha sukhadayaha, the sense objects which are coming, gives a perception to the senses as sukha adi, sukha dayaha, that is pleasure and pain and neutral. Vedyante gatavatyena, thus by which everything is known. Ghata, ghata is the jar, as clearly as a jar. Nitya bodha swarupina, that is the nature of eternal knowledge. So that means now you've understood that it is this consciousness which is bringing everything together in everyone, not you. So when we look at someone, you're actually looking at yourself. There is nobody else who is there. So this morning when we both woke up, myself and my wife, I was telling her that this consciousness gives you an opinion that you are waking up. And I am waking up separately. You are yawning, I am yawning. But actually, nobody is getting up, nobody is yawning, nobody is sitting, nobody is standing at all. Because both Vyakta and Avyakta are false. So nobody is there at this home, because even the home doesn't exist. That is the knowledge. If you get, you are liberated. So you first realize that there is nothing there, and then now you are able to see really there is nothing there.
One question here.
Yes.
For moksha, we need this that ajnana to go away.
Correct.
And we have something called moksha is nothing but liberation. That means from the bondage.
Correct.
So till liberation, bondage is there.
Yes. Till liberation in the
So
sense.
bondage is what? Vyakta or avyakta? Bondage.
No, it is like that consciousness coming out into the seed. That is avyakta vyakta.
Okay, bondage is avyakta vyakta. Understood, clear. It's a definition. That means avyakta vyakta is there. It has to go away, right?
How does it go away? How does it go
So
away?
is there, 1 minute, is there means what?
What is there means?
It is there.
It is there means it is the reflected consciousness. That is what we covered in 127.
So then from the shunya point of view or purnatva point of view, this is small thing is still there. When it goes away, yes, it is purnatva or it is shunya.
Correct. So
there is a space in this, there is a space in this spiritual plane. One is ajnana, one is purnatva or shunyatva, another is this that bandhana.
no, first you have bandhana. Okay, so we'll
See, we'll ask, when we say bandhana is there, it is there.
correct, it is there. Mukti is also there. Both are there.
Yeah, where is the space for bandhana here in this pure world of divinity or Chaitanya?
See, observing that you are Chaitanya is still a bondage, because you exist in that Chaitanya too. There is subtle you in that. I am Chaitanya.
See, when we say there is nothing vyakta, nothing avyakta, there is nothing, then we are already in purnata only.
Yes.
Then why we say that we have bandhana? We have no bandhana also. That also we can say no bandhana.
Yes, but it is a two-step process, not a one single step process, as per this shloka also. You first understand 127, 128 and 129, and then you get the knowledge, true knowledge of what is it is. That is where the shunya happens. Then 131 verse when we go, then you look at the nature of infinite bliss, which is completely purna, sampurna.
So I was thinking in my mind just now, that thought came. when there is nothing called Vyakta Avyakta, it's only Purnatva.
Yes,
So we are
absolutely.
already Purnatva. Already I am Purnatva. There is nothing
Intellectually,
nothing Vyakta Avyakta.
correct.
Then why I have to try I have to put some effort for becoming that. So I am already that.
You are already that. Yes, Tattvamasi, you are already that. But to know
Yeah.
that you are already that, you have to remove
No
the
question of knowing. There is nothing. There is nothing. No question of knowing. No question of buddhi, ahankara, chitta, nothing. This all we only created through our mind. No mind at all.
No, that is the reason. What he says is that you have to remove the ajnana only. You don't have to
See, to
create.
remove, there is nothing called ajnana. To remove it. If it is there, I would have agreed. It is not there.
Okay.
Then why I should put effort to remove ajnana?
So this is the problem.
I'm talking about the intellectual point of view. I'm
Yes,
asking.
I got it. So there is, if you ask from a very logical perspective about this, that when there is no ajnana, it is already liberated, right? That is true. If you are, you will come to know, and because there is no you to know, that is the answer to it.
See, that is what no guru, no shishya, no teaching, nothing. Finally, when there is nothing, why we have to waste our time in knowing this?
that is what you understand in the end, that there is no point in knowing anything. That is correct. Now, to know that, you have to do a lot of things. It is like when there is a contraction, just like what Lata explained on, there is another video, but it's for 1.5 hours something, wherein they show how the world is contracting, expanding, where what she said about the black hole also ultimately goes off. Okay.
For that millions of years of expansion and contraction.
Yeah. Contraction and
Okay.
expansion. Now you are able to experience it, let's say. Okay. But you have experienced it, right? So that is still a bandhana. Now when that you goes away, then there is mukti. So now it is like on and off switch. If you say that I am the light, then you are still in bandhana because you are the light. But when you switch off the light, it's still light is there, but it is neither avyakta nor vyakta. For that there is no answer. So what we can do is to realize that you are the light. That realization is called self-realization.
Yeah. And I have understood from that point of view.
Yes,
Only from the argument point of view.
I got it. No, hold on for a second. For logic and intellect can work till realization only.
Yes.
After realization, no logic exists.
Correct.
So you are asking me something to define what happens after that. Meaning,
Which cannot be defined.
which cannot be defined, which cannot be made known also, because there is avyakta and vyakta are not there. So how can an intellect grasp something which intellect itself doesn't exist after that? So now what should I explain? Intellectually, it cannot be done. I can only explain.
Yeah, intellectually only thing is in our Sukha Nidra, whatever happens, that is the reality.
Yes, and that also.
That is something experiential. After
Correct.
that is over.
Correct. And
Not during that time.
That is what Shankara talks in 121 verse. Sarva prakaraha pramiti prashantaihi बीजात्मनः अवस्थितः एव बुद्धेः सुषुप्तिः एतस्य किल प्रतीतिः किंचित् न वेद्मि इति जगत् प्रसिद्धिः.
Which one? Shloka?
121.
Oh, 21. Okay.
Your answer lies there.
Yes. Yeah, answer is that.
So if somebody asks, did you sleep? And the answer is yes. Now what did you sleep? What did you do in sleep? There can't be any answer to that.
Anandamaya sleep.
That's all. You can say, boss, I had a best sleep. I don't know why you're asking this question.
To understand what is sleep, you don't sleep one day and next day you start working.
Yes. Yeah, Lata, you wanted to say something and you again went off.
I don't remember now because I think I was just trying to answer something to but then you answered, so now I forgot what it was.
Okay. So I removed your answer.
Yeah. So now I don't even remember what it was.
Okay, no worries. So if we have gone till here without any bumps, the next one is a very bumpy ride that is called nature of infinite bliss. Eshaha antaratma purushaha purnaha nirantara akhanda sukha anubhutihi sada ekarupaha pratibodha matraha yena yeneshita vag asavaha charanti. So eshaha antaratma is the innermost self. Who is the innermost self? That which is pushing that seed to come to the surface from the mud. Purushaha Purnaha. It doesn't have any flaw. That one, if the bija is there, will open up the plant, will open up the animal, will open up the, let us say, an insect, will open up everything. Nirantara Akhanda is constant and unbroken. Why? Because it is able to open up in everyone. Sukha Anubhutihi. Why it is Sukha? Because it has no polarities at all. It exactly does the same thing with everyone. Sada Eka Rupaha. He is ever the same, yet Pratibodha Matraha. Known differently due to mental modification. Now this is what we need to drop. As human being, as animal, as plant, as this and as that, if we are able to remove it, then the avyakta and avyakta both goes away. Yeneshita vag savascharanti or vag asavahacharanti. By his command. Whose command? This consciousness which is coming everywhere, the organ of speech, asavaha, the pranas, perform their functions, charanti, they keep on doing it. So that ends this bumpy ride of what is truth. And 132nd verse, we are going to go into the sattva. Yes, Lata.
So now we have all understood what is
self.
Brahman.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, now you are experienced Brahman. So if you have experienced, we also...
So the word...
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, if you all have experienced, then we can have a clap.
All the time we are experiencing only Brahman, nothing other than that.
Yes. So there is nothing to explain.
Can I say, people generally use the word grace of God, all this is happening.
Yes.
Okay, the word, actually the God is nothing but Brahman here, right?
Correct.
Because what I have done, if you see, I got everything from the nature, including my body.
Correct.
And from Antaspurana, that intention also came from internal only, what I should do.
Correct.
And I have done. There is nothing that I have done. It is all Krishna Arpana.
Correct.
But if I have done something with the intention, then Papa Punya is mine. If I do without any intention, there is nothing Papa Punya.
Correct.
So this intention comes from where? Mind only.
Intention
And
is
then
in the mind.
from this three gunas, right?
Yes. That is the Mula Prakriti, through which the intention...
So I have to do every time anything without intention.
Yes. That becomes Karya instead of Karma.
Okay, that's a good message.
Don't intend anything.
No intention, no expectations.
So,
No feelings.
Yes.
No feelings also.
no, feelings will be neutral. So, Buddha explains this same question is like this. Chetana aham bhikkave kammam vadami. So, what it means is Chetana is the intention. Kammam vadami is the karma. So, intention only one makes karma. If there were no intention, then there is no karma. Then you become that Tattvamasi. So if you have good intention, you get punya phala. If you have bad intention, you get papa phala. If you have no intention, there is no phala. Simple. So then there is no samsara. And even in the note, what is that? Even if you look at the notes, cash, 1 rupee, 10 rupees, 100 rupees, and all that, or dollars or whatever, there is an intention. There is a promissory note. I promise to pay the bearer so and so. That's an intention. So there is karma. But there is no real thing at all. It's just a paper, printed paper, but you give a value. So it becomes intention oriented. If we bring out zero value in that and just a transaction, something costs some amount, you just pay it, use it, leave it. Then there is no intention. But then I set a expectation that this is what I need to be paid, or this is what I need to pay for this service, or this is what I believe is the cost. Then there is an intention. This can be good intention, it can be with bad intention. Good intention gives you punya, bad intention gives you papa. So initially when I joined, that's the reason I said that I don't want to say how much I need to be paid, because there is an intention over there. You pay how much ever you want. It is your problem. It's not my problem. Because if I say I need this, becomes an intention. So the karma is there. That's the best thing. So how much is good as a number? 0. Then there are no samskaras, there are no karma, there is no vasana. Beautiful thing. So that ends the journey of Brahman. So we can take the 132nd verse tomorrow.
This is about Brahman.
Yeah, with this we ended Brahman. 4 verse.
Tomorrow onwards.
No, tomorrow we are still there. We are in the, it talks about sattva, then relationship between self and the upadhis, and what is unchanging, then self and the universe, and then the origin of bondage, why we call something as a bondage. Then we have grasping the unreal is the bondage. Then avritti, which happens, that is 139th verse. then merciless persecution by Rajas, 140, and then life and death happening as a fate, 141. Then how this get wheeled, 142. Then Vikshepa Shakti, how it works. 143 and 144 are same, that is mischief created by Maya, and it creates a vriksha of bondage, and the bondage is required by the consciousness itself. Prakriti never wanted the bondage, the Purusha wants the bondage, so it is in bondage forever. So we still have many shlokas to go, and that ends our first volume. Then we go to the second volume with Panchakoshas. And
Vivekachudamani gives a knowledge about all this.
yes,
And this Patanjali Yoga Sutra says how to apply and get the results.
yes,
Is it true?
yes. The only problem with Patanjali Yoga Sutra is the Sadhana Pada and the Samadhi Pada, both of them. If properly, you should do it. You should do it 18 hours in a day. Then you will get the Vibhuti Yoga. Then the Kaivalya is jump. And Patanjali has not explained how did he do that, how did he jump. So comparatively to comparing to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, more detail is available in Vivekachudamani.
But this prepares, right? This is the basic understanding of all those things.
Yes.
And then that's the practice.
That's a practice. So if you were to look it in a three distinct way, Buddha gives you step by step. So there is nothing you can literally do except for reaching the final destination. This is Buddha. Shankara does the same thing, but the last jump, he doesn't say how. That is from realization to liberation. So you have to, just like what Lata was saying the other day, Sri M or anybody, they have to go back to Buddha's teaching to see what the jump is. Okay, so that is what Shankara. And coming to this one, Yoga Sutra Patanjali, it is totally abstract. Okay, so if somebody starts with Yoga Sutra Patanjali, will never understand it. For him, he has to start with Vivekachudamani. Then only he will understand.
Yes,
Patanjali.
correct.
But to understand to understand what is real and what is unreal, you have to start with Buddha teaching.
Okay.
Okay, so
then only we should enter Bhagavad Gita after all doing this, right?
Yeah. Then
well understood.
Yeah, then you will really enjoy it, because now you understand what Bhagavad Gita actually says.
Yes.
So Buddha talks from Asat. All our philosophy is from Sat. So unless we experience Asat, how do you experience Sat? So you will become only an intellectual, conceptual reality. That is the problem.
This Veda is nothing related to all this. Upanishad, I understand, it is all related to this.
Veda has got nothing to do with this, because it is a complete abstract science. So from Veda,
now what exactly is written? What exactly knowledge is available in that Veda?
it has everything.
Knowledge point of view.
It has what we can say, it has all the three subject incorporated. So one is the Bhautika, one is the Daivika, one is the Adhyatmika in one. So it is very difficult to understand the Adhyatmika portion of the Vedas. Even Krishna, if you have seen in the 44th verse of Bhagavad Gita, he says that don't go behind Vedas. What he means is that it doesn't, people don't go towards the Adhyatma part of the Vedas. They only go towards the Bhautika and the Daivika.
They do yajna, right?
They only do the yajna, so they get stuck up there. So there is no way they can understand the reality. So he says you should not, because that which is real is there in Upanishad, because the Vedas were then derived, that Upanishad were derived from the Vedas. So they created something called as Vedopanishad. That is from the Vedas, the key concept of the Vedas, they brought it into Upanishad. So there are two things. One, if you want to have the gist of the Veda, you should really experience three suktas. So the Purusha Sukta, Sri Sukta and the Narayana Sukta. If you experience all the three, then you have understood what is there in the Veda. Otherwise, people get caught up in the chandas and they keep on.
So Veda is there for that, to carry from one person to another person. They have put it in a very in the shortest form, right? In the melodious way,
Yes.
as well as
So
where people can remember.
Yeah, what happens here is that there is this word. So I think in the Buddha teaching also there is something called a Shuddha Vasa, and I shared this information with Lata, that how this Veda happens. So I said to her that when once Bhatt comes to some stage, I will explain to him. Every time he says it is apaurushiya, it is correct, but how that apaurushiya happens, that is not heard through humans. So there is a place called Shuddhavasa, from where all this starts. So the Brahmins come from there and they narrate the Vedas. And they go away. So nobody knows why they came, nobody knows why they went. Because that is their job. Anyway,
so those things, that message has come through somebody in Avyakta form, and from there it is just moving body to body through sound, right?
yes,
Veda.
that is correct. That is correct. That is correct. So it has to get totally polluted, and again it comes back. So the four yugas keeps on coming up and going down, coming up and going down.
So in this Kali Yuga, it's much easier to realize, correct?
No, it's not like that. It is like you don't have to know so much, because your life itself is too short in the Kali Yuga. In the Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga, it is Satya Yuga, it is very long life. Whereas in the Kali Yuga, it is a very short life. So that means all that to be done in 40,000 years. Let us say human life was 40,000 years, and now it is hardly 80 years. If you really see, then your experience is very, but you will be able to learn more at a very less state. And that's the reason Kali Yuga easy to get realized. Satya Yuga is everybody is in Satya, so there is nobody telling any lie. So it is very hard to realize, because everything is going very well. One simple thing, but is that there is a sutta called as Aganya Sutta. In that, Buddha explains that when they first starts the Satya Yuga, there is no need to eat. You don't feel hungry. So if you want to eat, you just put your hand and it manifests whatever you have in your mind, and you eat it. That's all. Then when it comes to Kali Yuga, agriculture starts. And as it goes diminishing and diminishing, the earth loses its fertility.
Correct.
And people start selling the grains. And they start hoarding and all of that. Maybe one day, or rather tomorrow if you want, we can do that, and you will really experience what all you have heard in the Vedas. The same thing is there. No difference. We can do that. And that will tell you how the world comes and how the world goes. So there's no point in waiting. You finish your journey and go.
Padmashree has already dropped off.
Yeah, she's already dropped. So she had a meeting, I think, at 9:30. So she dropped. Okay.
Okay, Vilas.
Fine then.
See you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Bye. Yeah, the class on.
ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋಗೋದು ನಾವು ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ